Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melanie goes,
Tired.
what's going on, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions, and join me today for a look at the collected editions in the DC August solicitations. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, if you're enjoying these type of videos, please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Not sure why I'm pointing over here. I should be pointing down there somewhere. That goes a long way for us here on the channel. Big thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Could not be doing this without you all. Alright, we are looking at the August solicitations, and as I always like to remind people, the solicitations are months in advance, and August is the date of the single issues. As far as the collected editions are a few months out, the hardcovers even more months out, and we're even looking at some books in 2025. So keep that in mind, and the other thing is there could be some delays. We've seen some delays from DC and Marvel this year, as well as Image and IDW, so there are always chances for delays. Okay, now with that being out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Primer, Clashing Colors, coming out on November 5th, 2024. The book is 192 pages and $12.99. This is by Jennifer Muro and Thomas Krajewski, and Gretel Lusky and Nicoletta Baldari are the artists on the particular book. And it is the story of Ashley that wants to be taken seriously as a superhero. And next up is Teen Titans Starfire by Cami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo. Those two have been working together for so many years and putting out material just like this. This one's on sale on November 5th, 2024, $16.99. It is a trade paperback, and it is 208 pages. And we got to see, actually, Cami Garcia at New York Comic Con. She has these huge line. Apparently, she's huge in the YA community, and also, that's young adult, by the way. And also, a lot of people are into her graphic novels. So that's awesome. Any chance that people and kids get to read these graphic novels, that's where it's at. Next up is Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum. This is a trade paperback for $19.99. It is by John Layman and Jesus Hervas. The cover there is by Dan Panosian and comes out on October 1st. And collecting the Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum miniseries. Now, I do want to say, I think this is a prequel to the Rocksteady video game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So it's not in the DC Comics continuity. Superman 78, The Metal Curtain. This is the Robert Venditti and Gavin Goudry follow-up to the previous Superman 78 book. It is $19.99. It is a soft cover, 136 pages, and collects Superman 78, The Metal Curtain. I think some of you, I love the first Superman 78. That completely blew me away. I loved it. So I couldn't wait for this one. And some of you all said it's not as good as the Superman 78. But I always tell people to judge it for themselves. So I guess we will see. We will see. Alan Scott, The Green Lantern. This is by Tim Sheridan and Cian Tormey. And David Talaski's doing the cover there. This is a trade paperback, $16.99, 144 pages. And this collects Alan Scott, The Green Lantern 1 through 6, and the short story from DC Pride Through the Years, number 1. So this is the Golden Age Green Lantern, but it is the new version of the character. So it's the post-Flashpoint version. So around the New 52 era, when they revamped the character. And Catwoman, Volume 4, 9 Lives is coming out. Continuing Teenie Howard's run, collecting issues of Catwoman 59 through 68. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing because her run wasn't that long. It's just that she took over the run and it started with a Volume 1 and that was a continuing. So it should really be Catwoman by Teenie Howard, Volume 4, 9 Lives. Anyway, collecting issues of Catwoman 59 through 68, 248 pages. It is a trade paperback. for $19.99. Cover there is by David Nakayama, but the internal artwork's by Stefano Raffaele and Carmine Di Giandomenico and Ivan Sharvin. Harley Quinn, Volume 1, Girl in a Crisis. This is another Teenie Howard book with Leah Williams, and the art in here is by Sweeney Boo, who supplies the cover there. Hayden Sherman is also one of the artists, and this collects Harley Quinn 28 through 32, and Night Terrors Harley Quinn 1 and 2. And softcover, 208 pages, $19.99, coming out September 24th. The Speed Force, the miniseries, all 6 issues, is going to be collected in the Speed Force trade paperbacks by Jarrett Williams. Danielle Di Niculo is the artist on the cover and internal artist here. And this is about Wallace West and Avery Ho. They're proud members of the fastest family alive. So this is talking about the actual Speed Force. So this is by Jarrett Williams, as I mentioned, who did some stuff for Rick and Morty, and then they, what else did he do? Titans, the Beast World Tour. And Green Arrow, Volume 2, Family First. That first volume was freaking solid. I cannot wait for this one. This continues Joshua Williamson's run with Sean Isaacse, who did the cover, but Phil Hester, who has done previous work on Green Arrow, particularly the run with Kevin Smith, and then, of course, Brad Meltzer, comes back for this particular book. This collects issues 7 through 12. It is a soft cover for 136 pages. Oh, not $136, $19.99. It is 136 pages and coming out September 24th. Continuing the Elseworlds trade paperbacks, we have Batman Volume 2, so Elseworlds Batman Volume 2. These are amongst my favorite Elseworlds stories, and that is Batman and Dracula, Red Rain, Bloodstorm, and Crimson Mist. So you have stories in here by Doug Bench, of course, and Kelly Jones, John Beatty, Malcolm Jones III. This one is $49.99, 568 pages. It is a soft cover. With that page count, some people are probably wondering, wait a second, why isn't that a compendium? Because I believe this is just a reprint of that big, thick book that came out a few years back. Batman the Cult is coming out in a deluxe edition. This collects the 6-issue miniseries and, of course, Jim Starlin. But the big draw, for me at least, for this book is Bernie Wrightson. Oh, Bernie Wrightson and Batman, I mean, that's it. That's all I need to say. This is a deluxe edition, meaning that it's oversized and it's in hardcover format, $39.99, 216 pages. And I say 6, I'm sorry, there's only 4 issues of this particular series. However, they are putting in a never-before-seen gallery in the book, too. So I'm curious what pages are going to be added in here. And if you haven't read it, oh my gosh, you are in for a treat. It is freaking phenomenal, but in the artwork, oh, so good. Continuing Batman in Absolute Edition is Absolute Batman 0 Year. Scott Snyder teaming up with James Tynion and Greg Capullo, Rafael Albuquerque doing the artwork in there. Covers by Greg Capullo containing Batman 0, 21 through 27, 29 through 33. It's a shame that 28 is not in there, but it is in the Omnibus. And Batman 0 Year Director's Cut number 1. It is in absolute format for the first time with a brand new introduction by Scott Snyder on sale February 4th, 2025. $125, 512 pages. American Vampire Book 1. Scott Snyder, and I love the fact that they still credit, I mean, it is a Stephen King thing, but it's Scott Snyder and Stephen King, Rafael Albuquerque, Sean Murphy actually doing some of the artwork in this particular volume, collecting American Vampire 1 through 12, and this is all about Skinner Sweet and the American West, and then how this vampire just goes through different periods of time. Oh, it's an excellent, excellent series. I've done an overview of the Omni editions, but this is the trade paperback editions. 352 pages, $49.99. Animal Man by Grant Morrison and Chas Trog. Compendium is coming out. This is collecting the first 26 issues of Animal Man by Grant Morrison. It's got the cover there by Brian Boland. And you've got inks in here by Doug Hazelwood. $59.99, 712 pages, coming out on October 1st. I love the fact that it's coming out in October. That's awesome. Now, of course, this has been widely available in a series of trade paperbacks, in a series of one omnibus, and of course the deluxe editions that came out. But this is the first time that it's going to be available in a compendium. And this compendium actually has 4 more pages than the omnibus edition. I'm not really sure what it contains in here that is 4 more pages, but 712 pages. The omnibus had 708 pages. So in case you haven't read it and the compendium format is your way to get books, you're in for a treat there too. Oh, it's so good. Oh, yes, baby. Aquaman by Peter David Omnibus. I had it solicited before, but then they took it out and now it's resolicited, and it looks like it is officially, as of this date, today, coming out on October 8th. So collecting, so glad that this is in here. Aquaman Time and Tide 1 through 4, and Aquaman 0 through 49, Aquaman 1 million, Aquaman annuals 1 through 4, Tempest 1 through 4, and a story from Showcase 96 number 1. So a lot of the stuff in here, I mean, we're talking about over 30 issues of these particular comics have never been collected. Because we've had 2 trade paperbacks. We were going to get a third one. Unfortunately, that one got canceled. But the fact that we're getting an omnibus, this is one that completely shocked me. Like, I love this run of Aquaman. And Peter David's name on another omnibus just makes me so happy. We've got Young Justice, and I'm hoping one day we'll have Supergirl. Of course, at Marvel, we have X-Factor, we've got Spider-Man 2099, we've got Captain Marvel, and of course, to me, is magnum opus, and that is the Incredible Hulk. But now he's getting more and more love at DC Comics with Aquaman, and like I mentioned, I'd love to see that Supergirl run collected one day in an omnibus format. Now, Aquaman did continue past issue 49 and went all the way to issue 75. You had Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning writing the book, and then eventually it was Eric Larson. And I would love to see those collected one day, but I think this is a really good start. The book retails for $150, and it has 1,584 pages. Next up is Batman Superman World's Finest, the Silver Age Omnibus Volume 1. This is the 2024 edition, meaning that it is a new printing, coming out on October 29th of 2024. Ed Hamilton, Bill Finger, Kurt Swan, Dick Sprang, and the cover by the legendary Darwin Cook, who is amongst legends with all those folks there, collecting World's Finest 71 through 116, and $100 and 632 pages. John Constantine, Hellblazer by Jamie Delano, Omnibus Volume 1, or John Constantine by Hellblazer by Jamie Delano, Omnibus Volume 1, depending on where you're from. Alright, so we have stories in here from Jamie Delano and Rick Veitch, and we also didn't know what the contents of the book was. It's $150, 1,120 pages, collecting the first 22 issues of Hellblazer. So that's really interesting that this is a volume 1, because it does give us enough. But we talked in detail about this particular run of Hellblazer and how they could continue it in a volume 2. But what we wanted to see, of course, is the actual Hellblazer volumes 1, 2, and 3 in chronological order without the creators. But as long as we get there, all 300 issues, that would be awesome. Now, this particular book is due out on October 15th. So, collecting Hellblazer 1 through 22, Hellblazer Annual number 1, Swamp Thing 65 through 77, and Sandman number 3. It will have a new foreword by Garth Ennis and an introduction by Delano himself. So, this is the story that defined John Constantine, or Constantine, as I mentioned. It's going to be interesting to see how they map Volume 2. And I hope that we get more of these, please. Alright, next up is Legion of Superheroes, The Great Darkness Saga. Did I say Darkness? Uncanny Omar Talk Pretty One Day. Legion of Superheroes, The Great Darkness Saga, 192 pages, $14.95, collecting Legion of Superheroes 287, 290 to 294, and Legion of Superheroes Annual Number 3. This was just recently collected, not fully, in the Fourth World Omnibus Volume 2. There was a deluxe edition that collects more of this that came out a few years ago. I'm surprised they didn't just reprint that, because it's such a classic story, for not just for Legion of Superheroes, for DC in general. Midnight Mass. This is by Jesus Saiz and Jimmy Palmiotti. John Rosen writing the story and collecting Midnight Mass 1 through 8. It is a trade paperback for $16.99, 208 pages. And coming out October 1st, as well on October 1st as The Filth, the new printing, the 2024 edition, collecting all 13 issues of The Filth. This is a trade paperback, $19.99, and it is by Grant Morrison, Chris Weston, and Gary Erskine. And this is all about extra-dimensional agents. So, what is the character's name? Greg, I think, is the character's name. Oh, man, this solicits are solid. Flash by Mark Waid Omnibus Volume 2. Let's talk about this book. So, collecting Flash 092 through 129. I smile because that's Impulse right there. The Flash Annual 7 through 9. 0 Hour Crisis in Time number 4. Impulse 10 through 11. So, the crossover is there. The Flash plus 1. And then a story from DC Universe. Holiday Bash number 1. And Who's Who character profiles. So, not just Mark Waid, of course, but Brian Augustine, Michael Jan Friedman, and artwork by legends like Carlos Pacheco and Mike Wieringo, who both gentlemen we lost at such a young age. Salvador La Roca also supplying some of the artwork in here too. And this introduces us to a new speedster, not just Impulse, but expanding on the Speed Force, we get Savitar. 1,216 pages, $150, and coming out September 24th. The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, the complete series by Matthew Rosenberg, Carmine Di Giandomenico, and Francisco Francavilla are the artists, collecting The Man Who Stopped Laughing 1 through 12, and Night Terrors, The Joker 1 and 2, $39.99, 496 pages, and it is a trade paperback. And Wonder Woman by George Perez, Volume 1, a reprint of the trade paperback, the 2024 edition, collecting Wonder Woman 1 through 14, 352 pages, $39.99. It is the relaunch right after Crisis on Infinite Earths. It is legendary, and if you haven't read it in omnibus format, or if you don't like omnis, and you're just interested in trade paperbacks, then this is the one to get. Greg Porter, Len Wein, and Bruce Patterson, also people that are working with George Perez on this wonderful relaunch. Now, if you're interested in these books, when they come out, don't forget to pre-order them from our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And those were the August solicitations from DC Comics for collected editions. In the comments down below, let me know what you're most excited for if you had to pick one book. I don't care. Pick as many books as you want. Write them down in the comments section. Let me know what you're most excited for, what you're hoping will show up in the next catalog, which should be coming up here in about 2 months probably or so. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Smash that like button. Check us out on Patreon and Spreadshop. Amazing ways to support the channel. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.